What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be looking at regular ETBs, PCTBs for the first week as well, because people had been asking about that. I'm going to title the video something along the lines of like, investors are going to get burned if they follow this trend. And I'm going to talk about PCTBs towards the end of the video. I first want to just touch on regular ETBs, and really nothing changed week over week. If you look at this data, I mean, some boxes were up, some were down. The majority of them were up. Crown Zenith making the biggest move from around $137 up to $143.27. But really nothing too crazy happened this week. I mean, a couple boxes, Shining Fates, you're up to 300 or down actually to 348 boxes on the market. Last week there was 504 on the market. But Celebrations up to 222 boxes on the market, between a 20% leg up. And last week it was 158. So there seems to be a little bit more supply of some boxes, a little bit less for others. Sales volume is obviously going to fluctuate week to week, but you can see the majority of the trends, they're fairly similar. Maybe some boxes like Paldean Fates, Shrouded Fable, the days of inventory are down, and a lot of that has to do with sales volume actually just moving up. But your 151, your good set there, is still the lowest, 12.71 days of inventory remaining. So 151 is still in striking distance of, constantly making moves up, even though it's still in that $100 or $215, $216 range, a very expensive ETB. But it's still just moving at a very fast pace. Another thing, Hidden Fates sales volume was slightly up, ETB supply is slightly down, box price slightly up, and you have 21.66 days of remaining inventory there before we see a 20% leg up. Again, those numbers aren't going to be super accurate. More people are going to add boxes as time goes on, but keep an eye on that number. If this gets towards like that 12 to 15 range, then maybe we're cooking with gas, and Hidden Fates makes a move into like the low 300s, 320, 330-ish range maybe. But the majority of this video, and I'm going to zoom out here so we can switch tabs and go over to the PCTBs, week 1 here, May 2nd, 2025. If you guys are watching this in the future, basically what I did is for every SV era PCETB, I took the most expensive box. So SV base, there's two. You have the Miraidon and Koraidon. Paradox Rift, you have Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. Temporal Forces, you have Walking Wake, but you also have the, I'm trying to think of what the other one is. Iron Leaves, there you go. So I just took the more expensive one of the two for each set. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I really don't think it matters that much. We'll look at a couple trends, and I'm just going to give my opinion on PCETBs. But before we go any further, I just want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, PokeNotify. If you guys don't already know, PokeNotify is a Discord notification group offering you the fastest notifications for drops, restocks, and deals on Pokemon product. They cover all the main regions of the world: Canada, the US, Australia, Europe. They're also covering all the main sites like your Targets, your GameStops, the Pokemon Center, Walmart. They're the main reason I have all my prismatic regular ETBs, as I got in early from Walmart pre-orders, but also a lot of people are having success with Destined Rivals right now, the PCTBs, the booster boxes on the Pokemon Center. It's $7.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. They also have a 3-day free trial that you can use if you want to go check it out. And if you want to purchase a subscription after that, you can use the code PROFIT25 for 25% off your first month. I'll leave the links in the description down below, and thank you to PokeNotify for sponsoring the video. All right, so getting into these PCETBs, there is surprisingly a low amount of supply for some of these boxes on the market. For example, SV based, the Miraidon PCTB, only 5 boxes on the market. Current market price is $215, so these 5 boxes are below a 20% leg up of $258.36, and they're selling at 0.57 boxes a day, so a fairly low rate, but that still only gives you 8.77 days of remaining inventory before you see that leg up. And again, that's not going to be super accurate, as people add boxes and sales volume will change week to week, but it just shows you there's not a lot of supply on the secondary market right now if someone wants to buy these boxes. Same thing with Paldea Evolve, the PC version. Market price is $313.56. 20% leg up would be around $376. There are 7 ETBs listed below that price on eBay, selling at 1 per day, so 14 over the past 2 weeks. I should say this is a 14-day average, whereas the regular ETBs is only a 7-day average. And that basically gives you 7 days of inventory if they're selling at 1 a day, essentially there. Obsidian Flames, $318.78, 20% leg up, 382.54. 18 boxes on the market, so a few more. They're selling at 1.07 boxes per day on eBay. That gives you 16.82 days of remaining inventory. These are two pretty big sets. Paldea Evolved, you have that Pikachu promo with the starters from Gen 9, I believe, and then you have the Charmander promo from Obsidian Flames. Another big one, SV Scarlet Violet 151, $462 market price, 20% leg up, $555 approximately. There's only 12 ETBs listed below that number, selling at 1.5 a day. So these things are $460, and there were, what would the math be on that, 21 over the past 2 weeks sold. That gives you 8 days of remaining inventory. The Paradox Rift Roaring Moon version, $141. 7 boxes listed under $169.21, selling 0.86 per day. That's only 8.14 days of remaining inventory. So out of these first 5 sets, 4 of them are under 10 days of remaining inventory, which means we should really be keeping an eye on these boxes. After this, they do kick up a little bit. So Paldean Fates, market price $220, $264.35 would be that leg up, 40 boxes listed below that number, selling at 2.5 per day over the past 24 days. That is a very high rate. Outside of Prismatic and Journey Together, that is the highest rate out of all of these boxes. That gives you about 16 days of remaining inventory, even though there's a lot on the market. And I say a lot, 40 boxes really isn't a ton, but comparatively to a lot of these other sets, like 5, 7, 8, 9 boxes, yeah, not a ton on the market. Temporal Forces, the Walking Wake promo, or the artwork rather, $215, 20% leg up, $258. 8 boxes listed below that, selling at 0.64 per day. Intuitively, this makes sense. Temporal Forces not as popular of a set as something like Paldean Fates or your 151. 12.5 days of inventory there. Twilight Masquerade, I think we got reprints of this not super long ago, $111, $134, that 20% leg up, 9 boxes listed below it, 0.93 per day. Again, like not one of the most popular sets, but probably a bit more popular than Temporal Forces. Sub 10 days of inventory there. Shrouded Fable, 81.28, 97.54 would be a 20% leg up, 81 boxes. This makes sense. Shrouded Fable, there is a bit more out there, and also it's just a cheaper box, so I think, I don't know, and it's a newer one as well. You can kind of see you trend towards higher numbers with some of these newer sets, but surprisingly selling at 2.21 boxes per day, 37 days of inventory there. Stellar Crown, $136, 13 boxes listed below, leg up, 0.79 boxes selling per day. Again, intuitively, that makes a lot of sense as it's not one of the most popular boxes. 16.46 days of inventory there. Surging Sparks. This one actually really surprised me. I did not think at a price of $165. First of all, we should say there's 28 boxes listed below $198, but at this price point, around $165, they're selling at 2.36 boxes per day. So sub 12 days, 12 days of inventory there. That is surprising to me at that price point that many of them are selling. I know it's got a decent promo, the Shinji Kanda Magneton, but at that price point, I didn't think that they'd be selling at this rate. That is a little bit surprising to me. Prismatic Evolutions, this is not surprising to me at all. And even the regular sales data, which maybe we'll go back and look at again because I kind of flew over that. $232 average now, so that's come down a lot. 308 boxes listed below 279, selling at 16.71 per day. That's still only about 18.5 days of inventory remaining there. And then Journey Together, the newest set, 115, 148 boxes listed below, 138.36, selling at 10 per day. That's 14.7 days of inventory remaining. Again, the newest sets, I actually hate putting in the data just because it takes so long to gather everything. It actually took 3.5 hours to get the regular data and the PC data for this video, which is, and most of that really just comes from Prismatic, especially like counting the averages of how many sold over the past 14 days and making sure they're legit sales. Prismatic, Journey Together, Shrouded Fable, and then Champion's Path for the regular ones. That's like a lot of the work, and Shining Fates as well. But we can go back and look at the regular data because I did brush over Prismatic, and I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. There are a lot more boxes of Prismatic on the market. Last week, there were 375 boxes listed below $150 essentially. And this week, there were 876 boxes listed below $140.87. So a lot more Prismatic boxes on the market, but sales volume has picked up. They were selling at 29.71 boxes per day last week. Now they're selling at 33.71 boxes. So even though the amount of days of inventory remaining has gone up, this shouldn't be a worry for a lot of you guys. If you have prismatic, I have a lot of prismatic, prices come down, whatever. Within a couple months, this is going to be chewed through quite quickly. But in regards to PCETBs, I just am not a huge fan of buying them at these price points. I personally just I understand the stamped gimmick. I understand some people like stamped cards, the rarity of them, the exclusivity of not just the box but the promo inside. It makes sense to me. But buying, a 151 PCTB at $462, I just don't know how well that's going to do long term. Same thing with like Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames at $315-ish USD. Like that's very expensive considering MSRP on these is like what, $65. So if you guys are using something like Notify and you're trying to get the newest pre-orders at MSRP on the Pokemon Center, I think it's viable to pick these up. Even if you get a good deal as well, sure, that's fair. But buying something like an SV151 PCTB at $462 is not something I'm going to be doing. And I don't think you're going to lose money on these per se. And they're selling at a decent rate, which you got to understand, like 151, Paldean Fades, Surging Sparks, what else? Shrouded Fable. I mean, that's probably just because it's one of the cheapest ones. But the more popular sets do sell at a higher rate. So you shouldn't have to worry about liquidity too much. I just worry about the cap and kind of the peak on these boxes and where they can really end up going over the next 5 years. And a lot of my reasoning for this really just comes down to these stamped Pokemon Center promos are a newer gimmick. People really like them now, but are they going to like them in 5 years' time? I mean, maybe they could. But if they don't, then what does this box really offer? Not really anything different than a regular ETB. So you really need to hope that that gimmick holds strong, that people really do want those promos and they value the exclusivity of the box. And honestly, even if that popularity stays at a fairly high level, I still think you're probably going to make more money just putting that money towards booster boxes of the newer sets, and that they're probably going to double, and you're going to see a higher annualized ROI over the next few years than if you were to buy these PCTBs at these very high rates. But this is just my opinion, so you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. I hope you all have a great weekend, and go check out Notify. Links in the description down below if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.